In today's episode, I finally had enough and quit, pretty sure I've been punished for it. When your restaurant policy is seat first, get help later. Why are people just the worst? POS being a POS. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I finally had enough and quit, pretty sure I've been punished for it. I worked at what is probably one of the busiest restaurants in my hometown. We see about 300 to 400 customers a night booked in with very tight 2-hour turnovers, as well as tons of walk-ins late into the night. After a year and a half of working there, I finally couldn't take it anymore and quit. I wish I'd done it sooner tbh. We got our rosters 2 days before the start of the week, and they would change at random. So one week you'd be working 5 straight closes in a row, and the next week you'd only have 2 shifts, both day shifts. Trying to plan a life outside was impossible. I was in charge of the biggest section by myself every night, except on weekends when they'd graciously allocate another waiter to look after the booths and the walk-in spots. I would have to look after, by myself, 19 tables. This included 3 booths that could each fit 8 people, as well as 5 walk-in spots that were constantly being filled by new people. I also had the fun task of making sure people stuck to the 2-hour limit and were out before the next tables came in, which wouldn't be so bad except for the fact that people *CK and my restaurant would schedule it so that a 6 p.m. booking had an 8 p.m. booking straight after it, technically giving that 6 p.m. booking only 1.75 hours instead. I could always tell that the owner didn't like me very much, and because he worked 5 days as the head bartender, it made for really uncomfortable working conditions. That, plus his obviously blatant favoritism. After so many times crying at work or crying after shift, after getting an angry text from the owner telling me that I'm not allowed to just change my availability without talking to him, angry texts when I've had to call off sick or have been sick at work and needed to go home, and just generally feeling mentally exhausted, I handed in my 2 weeks and offered to work them out. My reward was being taken off the roster immediately and told that I'm banned for the next 3 months as a cooling off period, something I and my fellow hospo friends have never even heard of. Also, I'm 99% sure I am the only ex-employee who's ever had this cooling off period applied to them. Sorry this turned into a bit of a rant, but I'm just so angry at the way I've been treated after giving 1.5 years of hard service to this place and letting it physically and mentally beat me into the dirt. It just feels petty and insulting and personal. There's even more stuff than what I've typed, but I didn't want this to get too long. Has anyone else ever had a cooling off period before? I'm curious to see if maybe it is common elsewhere. Thanks for reading. When your restaurant policy is seat first, get help later. For a while I was working at a busy restaurant that just refused to practice any form of staggering table during the rotation. Restaurant policy was if there are open tables, seat them. Our manager said that if a server wasn't strong enough to handle being triple sat, they didn't need to work for us. On busy days we'd have greeters with 3 parties following behind them and seating each one at a table as they pass by. There were no SAs, no runners, no bussers. I was being scheduled to work 6 to 7 days a week, with no lunch breaks, and was being given 8 to 10 table sections. I was super overwhelmed with the schedule and sections, which I had been repeating to management for weeks. One morning I came in for opening duties and saw that we had a crowd outside waiting for us to open. I knew what was going to happen. I went to my manager and told him that I was going to need tables pulled because I was exhausted and 8 tables was not going to work for me that day. I convinced him, after a long back and forth, and we left the office 1 minute after opening. And my entire section was full. 1 minute into opening. 8 tables. No assistance whatsoever. And yet management can't figure out why the servers, bar, and kitchen all get weeded as soon as we open, smiley face. Why are people just the worst? Table of 11 booked for 1 p.m. 7 of them arrive on time. I'm handing out menus and before I can ask for a drinks order one guy is demanding to order a pint. Take the drinks over and ask them to confirm they're still waiting for more people, a lot of people don't let you know if their party is reduced or late unless you ask. They then ask if they can order even though they're not all here yet. Apparently some of them had somewhere to be. I'm sorry, that's not my problem. Don't come out for lunch if you've not got the time. It's Sunday, we're fully booked, and they had only given themselves an hour and a half. I faffed about for a good 5 minutes to try and give the rest of the party time to arrive, but no luck. I told the kitchen that they'd be getting this table's order in 2 halves, which of course they were super happy about. The remainder arrived half an hour late. Trying to get them to order was like pulling teeth. They were rude, loud, and generally a pain in the arse. Demanding our attention when we were busy doing other things and ignoring us when we were trying to engage with them. Ordered dessert, then 10 minutes later order more desserts by shouting their order at me while I'm clearing another table. They only ordered chips for the children despite us offering a wide range of food in kids' portions. We don't have a children's menu, we do smaller portions of our normal menu. I'm mildly judgmental of people who don't order proper food for their kids. Like, I get if your child has sensory issues or something, but all 5 kids just had chips. When we cleared, there was used masks in the empty dishes. When they left, there were chips and peas all mashed into the floor. Being in the UK, I'm not reliant on tips, thankfully, because of course, on a £200 bill they didn't leave a penny. POS being a POS. I've been behind the pine for 20 years now. The bar I started in was handwritten tabs. Head bartender required you know the prices for literally everything. At the time I thought it's *KED, but got in the habit of it. As my career grew and I became head bartender at other places, I also required my staff know the prices of everything they are selling as well as what taxes are. If the POS system crashes, the power goes out, etc., you should still be able to serve your people and collect money. Tonight we had a catastrophic system failure of our POS at the insanely high volume bar I currently work at. My partner for the evening is solid. She knows all the things and, as a bonus, is also bilingual, and can translate my stupid handwriting to our amazing kitchen staff. My Spanish is bad, I'm trying to learn. But this is off topic. We are forced to do cash only because some whole hulkied our ATM, which ended up damaging our internet cable, thus making it impossible to run credit cards. Personally, I'm ecstatic that we are cash only at this point. Hell yeah. I hate all these people that want to run a CC for one drink. You guys waste so much of my time. Just start a tab. My lady and I are killing it. For 3 hours we are crushing it. IT guy finally jimmies it enough for us to run cards again. Love you, man. Thank you. But we decide to just let the cash situation just keep on keeping on. Boss lady leaves before POS is fixed. Looks us dead in the eyes and says, "I'm so relieved it's you two tonight. You're the only two that won't freak out over this." Point of the story: know the price of what you're selling and be able to do basic math. Also, have a staff that you can rely on. We made bank because of it, and the house did not do too bad either.